Now, we have been covering global reactions throughout the day, and they continue to pour in after the summit between Putin and Trump, with the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban saying on social media that for years the two biggest nuclear powers traded unfriendly messages, but that has now ended and the world is safer than it was yesterday. Additionally, Hungarian Foreign Minister also said that the war in Ukraine will not be settled on the battlefield, but at the negotiating table, praising both leaders for keeping diplomatic channels open. I want to also say another statement that Peter Szijjártó, the Hungarian foreign minister, said that Hungary has stood by this for 3.5 years, unlike Brussels and pro-war European politicians. Keith, could you tell us a bit more about Hungary, about Viktor Orban's stance on this war? We've seen statements come out of the European Union condemning Putin's actions in Ukraine, and then you scroll to the bottom of these press releases and you see that statement that Hungary does not associate itself with this statement. Why does Hungary take this stance when it comes to Russia?
From the same cloth. Hungary and these two countries are both always seen to be pro-Russia. It's not that they're against necessarily any wars, they're against this particular war. So from that point of view, it's very, very clear that those two countries are going to be in a position where they are going to support basically anything President Putin says. What's very interesting, Thomas, is that we didn't hear any statements from a woman who has always come out and spoken, Ursula von der Leyen. Do we have any reaction from her? Do we have any reaction from Keir Starmer? Have we heard from President Macron? Have we heard from Chancellor Merkel? No, we haven't. That's what's interesting. They have stood back from saying this has been a waste of time, obviously, because they want to know what's being said. And I would imagine, even though they've had phone calls with President Trump, the full story is only going to emerge on Monday when he speaks to Zelensky. And even though President Zelensky is going to have a different attitude, who knows? He may even be wearing a suit when he gets to the Oval Office. Be very interesting to see whether he is wearing a suit and a tie. When he gets there, what's he going to say? So I think that everyone who is disappointed is standing back from criticizing what's happened. They don't want to say that the emperor has no clothes, because they will be too embarrassed to say this, because obviously Trump is a crucial player in all this. What needs to happen now, actually, if I was Trump, what I would have done is I would have had Zelensky on standby, possibly very near in somewhere like Nevada or somewhere in Canada, the nearest state to Alaska. And as soon as this first section was over, they could have had Zelensky coming and joining them there and then. But it didn't happen. So it's going to happen at some stage. This is what's going to happen next. It's going to be Trump and Zelensky on Monday, of course, because that's what's been promised and advertised.
Yes.
And how on earth are they going to get away with a tripartite meeting? It has to be Trump, Zelensky, and Putin together. But that can only happen when the negotiations are over. They are not going to be the people who are going to negotiate. They're going to be there for the photo call at the end. And
Yes.
that's probably going to be in Kyiv. Who knows?
Yes, Keith, do stay with us. Once again, we have some developments from the battle.